Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I keep saying how excited, thrilled, yes, just everything, all the feels talking to you today, Maria Alessandri. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm super excited. Anytime I have a chance to talk about horses and what they can teach us, I jump on it. So thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
no, thank you. Firstly, based in Maryland, or I think you said, is it Maryland, close to Washington,
Yes, Maryland,
D.C.?
Annapolis.
Yes.
Annapolis is the capital. Yeah,
Yeah, Annapolis. That was what I was about to say Minneapolis, but Annapolis. So
Annapolis.
Maria, I just am so, intrigued, curious, because I said to you that I did my own bit of exploration very, very, very lightly a few years ago when I was going through a huge change in my life. My whole world had fallen apart essentially, and I was going through a big transformation. And I stumbled across a small town in Spain and a question place where they talked around horses and the impact and relationship that it has with humans. And here, yeah, you popped up and I was like, we have to chat. And you're
Mhm.
the founder of Horse and People Project, which is an equine guided leadership and communication practice. And after an MBA and corporate career in project management, you build a platform that uses horse human interaction to strengthen presence, clarity, and relational intelligence. And you do this for leaders, teams, and parents. And I'm going to just call out the response you gave in terms of when I asked what's one unique insight, lived experience in life, leadership, or business. And you came back and said lessons in communication learned from horses. Tell us everything because I find it
Yeah.
fascinating.
So this was something I stumbled on. So, like you mentioned, I had a corporate career MBA and I was just that was so important to me. Horses were my obsession and it was my hobby. I grew up in New York City, immigrant parents from Chile, actually.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah. So in New York City, not a lot of horse opportunity, but I saw a police
Yeah.
mounted. Yeah, so I followed him to his barn and I ingratiating myself to the barn. I would clean and do whatever I could and these policemen were so generous in letting me stay. And then as I grew, went to college, got my graduate degree, horses were always, I still was obsessed with horses. And I finally got my first horse when I was 37. And I adopted a thoroughbred from a kill pen, actually. So unfortunately, most thoroughbreds that are bred for racing don't make it.
Yeah.
They're not fast enough. So he ended up in a kill pen. I adopted him. He's 5 years old. So there's the thought of killing a 5 year old horse, it just didn't, it's just really sad. It's a sad part of the racing
Yeah.
industry. But I brought him home thinking, oh, I'll just retrain him and it'll be fine because he's had a saddle, right? So he's broke, he's had a saddle, he's had a human on him. How hard can it be? Well, it was way harder than I thought because this poor guy had so much baggage. And
Quite
so
literally,
everything
right? Quite literally.
Yeah. So everything I thought I knew, I had to just take it to like maybe I just sit with him and I don't do anything. So learning to drop expectations was huge. To show up at the barn and not have any expectations of him. I'm just going to be with you and we're going to see what comes out of it. So that's what led him to start trusting me.
So hang on,
Is
Maria,
that,
can I ask, sorry
yeah,
to interrupt you, but when you
yeah.
say literally like sitting with him, was he standing and you were just sitting next to him? Like were you patting him? Like, or you were
Like I
just
would bring in a chair. So at first, the goal was to have him come to me. So if he has a space where he feels safe and I'm entering his space, I needed to be patient, then bring a chair or sit on a log or something in his field. Let him come to me. So as humans, we're predators. Horses are prey. So everything we do with them is a little bit aggressive. So
Mm,
learning to just, I'm going to sit here and let you come to me, let you learn to trust me. and that I'm not going to jump all over you just because you're coming near me. So all these little things that I was learning to do with my horse, little by little, I was realizing that it was also appropriate with my human relationships. So I'll tell you a story. Um, so fast forward a couple of years, I have a good relationship with this horse. I get a second horse. I have them at another farm. And there was a girl at that farm that her horse in the field always had to have ropes on her face, a halter and a rope. Usually when a horse is in their field, you leave them alone. They don't have to have ropes or halters. They're just free. They can graze, they can play. But this girl always had to have this on her horse. And I asked her once, I said, why do you keep that halter on when she's in her field? And the girl said, well, she runs away from me. So I have to kind of sneak up and grab her really quick. And I thought, wow, that's really sad. I would hate it if my horses run away from me. And I made sure that in the relationship with my horses, again, it was that I'm not always coming with a pile of expectations. So I'm not always coming to ride you. Like I'm not always coming to do only what I want to do. I'm balancing it with you're going to get your belly rubs. You're going to get, some days I ride you, some days I don't. You get to go graze on the nice grass. And sometimes the vet comes and sometimes it's feet, but then you might get a bath. And so kind of balancing it so it's not all what I want, that relationship where it's just you do what I want or else was kind of, and so then great. My horses come to me like one day I was driving onto the farm, the girl was there, my horses ran to the gate. I couldn't get to the gate fast enough for my horses. They were so happy to see me. And the girl says, wow, is that a coincidence? And I said, no, I've been working on it for the past month, just showing up, being present. Sometimes I ride, sometimes I don't. Like dropping my children at preschool, and I have 2 hours. So, yeah, let me just go spend 2 hours with my horses and, things like that. And so then my horses didn't see me as, oh, she's here. It was more like, oh, yay, she's here. So, like this horse psychology. So, at that time, I just thought, this is great. I have a great relationship with my horse. And I wasn't thinking of how this relates in my life or anything like that until one day I was at my kitchen counter having a coffee, and one of my teenage sons, I saw him out of the corner of my eye walking towards the kitchen, and I saw him stop when he saw me and he started backing up. He started backing up out of the room. And it hit me like, oh, I did to my son what this girl had done to her horse. Like I was establishing this relationship that was very full of expectations, and I was probably constantly nagging him. Did you get your homework done? Your laundry, your bedroom's dirty. So of course he sees me and he's like, oh, not in the mood for mom today. And it's like, oh, that's not okay. That's not the relationship I want with my son. So, I mean, could you imagine you get home and your dog runs away from you?
No, my dog just loves, he just jumps at me like,
But you would know something was wrong,
oh
right?
yeah.
If your
And it's
dog
happened a
ran
couple of
away.
times when he's just annoyed or like just
Yeah.
upset. And I have to
But
ask him what's going on. Like he can't talk to
yes,
me, but I'm very
yes,
conscious of, oh, I've upset him or his feelings are hurt or he's not, they have their days, they have their moments where
yes. But you're thinking like something's wrong, like we tend to gloss over when it's our kids, at work, do you want to be the boss that people are backing out of the room? That
no,
people, you know what I mean? They see you coming and they're like, oh, the boss is here. Or do you want to have more of a relationship where you talk about things and it's a little bit more balanced so that it's not constantly, I like to say when we're working with the horse, there's a line between encouraging and nagging.
mm,
And unfortunately, we cross that line a lot.
yeah,
The horse will let us know. So it's
yeah,
like, oh, look, he's unhappy, and the ears, the tail will start swishing, and it's like, okay, you need to release the pressure a little.
yeah,
Yeah, so as you start seeing these signals in the horse, we don't even always see the signals in people. So it's really fun to be able to work with people and describe these situations also where people can be like, "Oh, I wonder if I do that. Like, do I?" do my kids run away from me? Do my employees, my staff, when I come, do they run away? Like, what can I do to try to balance that communication, so that it's not always that you're kind of nagging or being a micromanager. It's like, let's try and balance that equation a little bit.
I love it. So you have your son, you noticed that with your son. So when did you actually then decide this was going to become your business? Your like
Yeah.
what,
So I had that situation with my son and I thought, oh, okay, I need to repair this. Because that relationship is really important to me. And life is really based on relationships, right?
yeah,
And
100%.
relationships, yeah, and relationships, communication is key to relationships. So then I would have these little situations where I would, have an issue at work. So I was at one point working part-time in Washington, D.C., and I was having an issue with a colleague, and I thought, I didn't set the boundary. With the horse, I have to set the boundary. With this colleague, I didn't set the boundary, and I let it go for too long. A conversation that I easily could have said, well, that's not how I see it. And then I didn't, I thought it would go away. How often do we not want to address a
Yeah, we
situation
don't want
thinking
to have that confrontation, the conflict.
you
Yeah.
don't want to? Now, with a horse, you can't. It's not safe. You have to set the boundary. It's 1,000 pounds,
Wow, yeah,
right?
it's so true.
So you have to physically and then also emotionally and energetically, because they are very energetic creatures. So they feel everything. So then I started learning. I was having issues with my second horse, and I started going to a trainer. And I kept saying, well, he's being naughty. He's doing this. He's doing that. And the trainer said, really? It's him? And I was adamant that it was the horse had the problem. And so we started working in the round pen. So this is where I just started falling in love with working in the round pen. So it's this round enclosure.
Yeah.
Animals don't do squares, so round
Yeah, you're right,
is
actually. They don't, do they?
no, animals don't do squares. So I started working with my horse with the trainer. And at one point, he kicked me out. The trainer did. He said, get out of the round pen because my horse was getting so agitated. And the trainer said, you're giving him mixed signals. You're saying, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. And finally, my horse started charging at me. And I thought, what? What's going on? What is he doing? Like, he's not supposed to charge at me. And the trainer was like, he's so frustrated, he doesn't know what else to do. So then that was big for me. Like, oh, how many times do we poke and cause situations and we don't know that we are complicit in that relationship? And we easily blame the other. So working with the horse in this way in the round pen, it's like, oh, the mirror turns around to me. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
really,
what am I doing?
and it's also that reactivity, right? Like you're reactive because you're not clear, like, back to
Yeah.
clarity, etc. So like you're just like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's like, whoa, I don't know what you're talking about here. Which you can
Yes.
apply to leadership, you can apply to life, you can apply to parenting,
Yes.
everything, right?
Yes. And it's funny, the parenting angle, because so I also go and I give talks and I do presentations. And I used to have separate leadership talk and a parenting talk. And one time I was in a conference room giving, and I said, oh, we're corporate here. Today you get the leadership conversation, the leadership lessons. And the other sessions that I do are parenting, and half the people in the group like, we want the parenting.
But yeah, because I believe it's like it's all interconnected. Like that's why I talk about life, leadership, and business. Like everything you're
Yes.
talking about, your business formed out of a life experience with your horses,
Yes.
the parent,
Well,
and and then a leader. You're a
yes.
leader in life. You're a leader in work. You're a leader if you're in a business. Like it's all interconnected. I just
Right.
you can't separate it.
You can't separate it because ultimately it's about me and
Yeah,
it's about you. So
yeah.
if I'm a leader, whether I am in my living room, in the backyard, or in the boardroom, like it's me. I'm still the leader.
Oh,
It's what I'm projecting. It's the intention and the energy that I'm bringing that makes it all very, very similar. So then I just ended up combining the two talks, and I actually I have a book coming out. It's in production right now, so I'm
how
hoping for,
exciting.
yeah, I'm hoping for January launch date. It's all the stories, like all the clients that have been coming through and things that they learn, and I learn through them because each person that comes has a different issue that they're working with. So, for instance, I had a lady come and we do set exercises with the horse. So, one of the exercises, the first exercise that we do is asking the horse to back up.
Yeah.
So, in the wild, in their own herd, the lead horse is the horse that can cause movement of the other horses. So basically, the lead horse controls the feet of the other horses. So I want to be the lead horse, right? In to establish my leadership. So when I step into the round pen, I need to back the horse up because just in a nice way to say, okay, I'm the leader here. And there was a lady that came and she had a really hard time. And she kept like pushing energy to the side. So sometimes what we'll do is we push energy at the horse, and that's enough to make him back up because they feel that the intention, the body language, and they will back up. But for some reason, the lady was pushing her hands out, and the horse was right in front of her, like you're looking at me, but she's doing this. And she said, "Why won't he move?" And I asked her, I said, "Well, where are you directing your energy? Because the horse is in front of you. You're directing your energy to the side." And the second she turned and faced the horse and directed her energy, the horse backed up. And for her, I said, "Okay, what does that mean to you?" Because I don't always know what's going on in the human's
No. Yeah,
brain.
yeah.
So I said, what aha moment did you just have? She was a teacher and she was having trouble connecting with her students. So it came out that she was probably being too general and not engaging directly
Yeah,
with the student.
I got that sense out of what you were just saying that she wasn't she was either I was about to say she was either not able to be the leader and be able to be authoritative, but not in a like a like do it this way sort of thing, but not being able to like directive like you say. And so she was like, it was like there was it felt like to me, you describing that, I felt like it was like she's got a block here. She can't,
Yeah.
yeah, fascinating.
She didn't know how to directly engage with the students. So that was okay. So this is a teacher. So it wasn't about parenting. It wasn't about the boardroom. It was the teacher who got like, oh, okay, I learned something. I need to approach a little bit different. Like then we talked about different ideas of, how to, when you have a class of 20, how do you directly engage maybe with each student because you have to avoid things like we're all doing the assignment, right?
Yeah.
Because, what middle school, 13-year-old is going to say, I'm not. So you have to kind of give them moments to be able to feel safe to ask questions where maybe they feel a little bit insecure. So, yes, that was a really interesting situation.
And so they
Yeah.
almost they almost have their aha moments themselves with the horses, right? And so then you have the conversation and then the insights come up. How do they then practically take that back into their real world, if you like, so to speak, in terms of like, because they're there with the horse, like, they're present, they're clear. And I guess with the world, where I'm going with this is the world is so complex, right? Like it's like when you go to a retreat or you do something and you feel like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this differently and that differently. Is there like some sort of magic or something that happens through engaging? I've always been curious about this, engaging with horses and from an energetic field or an energetic sense where it's almost like you're somewhat recalibrated, your energy is recalibrated as well. Like, is there some magic thing that happens when you interact with horses?
Well, of course, I'm going to say yes. Horses are totally magic. Um, I think that I'm lucky that most of the people that come are really open-minded and
Yeah,
really
that's what you need.
open, and they're looking for something different, and
Mm,
they find it.
mm.
Um, and so they want to internalize, they want to see what it was that maybe was putting somebody off, or like I'll try to ask questions also. There was a there was a lady that was working with one of my horses. We were in the round pen, and the last exercise that we do is after we've done a few exercises and the horse is now connected with this person, can you walk around the round pen and have the horse follow you, almost like a big dog? And so, and trusting that the horse is behind you, trusting, I call it the magnet, this exercise, like feeling this connection with the horse. Like when I was a child, I used to play with magnets and some sections connected, and then you would turn
Yeah,
it and they would, yeah. So feeling that with the horse. And so I asked the lady to walk around, and slowly I saw my horse pushing her, slowly herding her and against the fence. And so her space got smaller and smaller. And I said, "Oh, wait, protect your space. He's not supposed to push you. He's testing." So he's testing like who's really in charge here. And it wasn't aggressive, it was just this little nudge towards the fence. And we kept trying to work through because she didn't want to set her boundaries. And she's almost climbing the fence at one point. And I said, "No, no, 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 because now you're teaching my horse to do the wrong thing." So I said, "Put your arms up. This is your space. This is your bubble. He's not allowed to push you around. Maintain your space." And she said to me, "I don't want to punch him." And I thought, what part of this?
it's punching.
Because my hands are closed, I said, "Okay, keep your hands open, but you're still with energy, like you're not flopped over with energy. This is my space." And I tried to explain like a punch is aggressive. It's like your
Yeah,
whole body. It's a very different movement than no, no, this is my space. This is you don't get to push me around. So obviously this isn't about the horse. This is about her. She doesn't set boundaries, and
yeah,
she feels mean setting boundaries. So it's like, okay, think about situations in your life then. Like this, like give people homework. Like where in your life,
yeah.
at home, at work, with your kids, where are you getting pushed into the fence? Like where is it hard for you to maintain your boundary? Where is it hard for you to say no? So because it's not about the horse at all.
No, it's so
Because then,
fascinating. It's, oh, sorry, you go.
yeah. No, no, I was just going to say because the next person comes into the ring and has no trouble maintaining their space. So, and the horse knows it right away. Like, okay.
Have you ever, Maria, have you ever had anyone like I said to you, I mentioned at the very beginning, like I had a, it was burnout. It was more than just burnout. It was like full identity awakening. I won't say crisis, but it was somewhat that. I'll say it was an awakening because it was more of an awakening, like, and it continues, right? But do you ever get people like that that just come in and almost like, just lost, unfulfilled, not sure like
Yeah.
where and everything's going, but they're in the top of their game. Like they're high performing, they're doing extremely well. Like what from the outside in, it looks like wow, they're absolutely killing it. But within, they're almost like soulless. Have you ever had that sort of?
Yeah, I've had a few situations. And again, it's always interesting because I don't always know. Like
No.
I'm the interpreter, right?
Yeah.
I'm the translator.
Yeah.
I can see what the horse is doing because one time there was a young lady, part of a group, and people were rotating into the round pen and it was her turn. And my horse would not come anywhere near her. He just would not approach. And she's close to tears and she's doing everything she can, smiling and come here, come here. He stood still 10 feet away, would not get closer. And I could see that she was going to really lose it. I mean, the tears were ready to come. And I called a break and I just said, "Oh, I think he's tired. Let's take a 10-minute break." And then I pulled her to the side and I said, the only thing I can tell you, the only time that this horse, this was my thoroughbred, I said that he wouldn't approach me was when I was smiling on the outside, but inside was a very different story.
Yes. Oh my God, I actually just have full goosebumps
Yes.
now because it's
And
true.
she did. I'll cry thinking about it, but she totally, and we went to another room and she just had her full release, tears. And yeah, she was having a difficult situation at home, but she was trying to participate and smile. But the horse
Put the
just felt
mask
her
on.
energy.
Yeah.
And so I would try to tell people, like, if you're scared, be scared. If you're sad, be sad. What the horse doesn't like is when we're fake.
Yeah. Oh, we're
They
putting
don't
that
like when
mask on. And so often in
yeah,
life or in leadership or in business, we have this mask, this facade that we have to keep
yeah,
up. You know,
yeah,
like this, like, this comes to me around success, and that we've always looked at success, climbing the ladder, doing things, being the perfect parent, all of that. When actually, well, what if we were more vulnerable? What if we were more our authentic selves, right? If we're sad, we're sad. If we're having a good day,
yes,
we're having a good day. If we're having a bad day, we're having a bad day.
yeah.
We would be so
It's
much better off, wouldn't we?
so much better off, but it's so hard for us to be vulnerable. It's
I
so hard for us. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
And
And yet you've got these beautiful creatures, these beautiful
yeah,
horses that are giving us this ability. Have you had much, in terms of like from if we think about like corporate, like have you ever had people come along and then just can be completely resistant towards the and not compliant, like in terms of this is
yeah.
like, yeah. How have you handled
It
those
was
situations?
yes, yes. And those are super fun because for me, it's like, okay, the horse is going to win them over. I know it 100%. You cannot be with a horse and not feel something. You just can't. Like it's just their magic is going to come through. So I've had two instances like that. And one of them was three moms with three boys, three sons, three teenage boys. And I could tell when they arrived at the barn one of the boys, the way he slammed the car door, he got out, he just stood, arms crossed, and just the angry scowl the whole time. We again rotate everybody through, and finally it's his turn, and he's poking at my horse, he's pushing, and his two friends had gone, and they did great. And then this one boy, and he's like, why isn't he moving? Why isn't he listening to me? And I just looked at him. I said, he knows you don't want to be here. So he knows you're going through the motions. So he's just not going to participate. And so the boy said to me, he goes, yeah, but my mom made me come. I don't want to be here. And I said, I totally get it. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that's the situation. But you know what? Mom's over there. Like, mom's busy chatting with her girlfriends. How about like you just give Ace is my thoroughbred's name. I said, give Ace a few minutes and engage with him and see what happens. Like, this is your time. Forget about mom. Like, this is your time. So the minute, I think because I said, I know, I get it, and I'm sorry, he felt heard, the boy. So he could let go a little bit of his anger and he started connecting with Ace. He started asking him to back up, to go, to follow him. And like literally, it was no more than 5 minutes. Ace was following him around and big smile, like he was like, okay. So if you're coming at a horse with not good energy and not good intention, you know, what
Yeah.
you put into it is what they're going to put into it. They're
Yeah.
not going to make up for you.
No,
You know,
it's so
yeah,
fast. It's such an amazing. It's such an amazing like, but they can't talk to you, right? But yet the way they're communicating with you and what they're actually cracking open from the inside out. It is true inside out transformation in terms of like that ability to be able to. It's like you can't hide. You can't hide.
and hide.
You-
Now, do I know for sure everybody takes these lessons home and does something with it? I don't know for sure. So, in the process of writing the book, I talk about all these stories, and I did ask some of the people, some of the actual clients, like, do you want to write your story and what you got out of it? Because that's really the testament, isn't it? Like you can have a project and do all this stuff, but if it's not really helping people, because that's the goal really, is to help
100%.
people,
Yeah.
figure out because it helped me so much. Like it helped me with my son moving away from me. I'm like, oh, that's not the relationship I want with my son. So
No.
how else can this help people and how can it help maybe managers and leaders be a little bit more understanding with what intention they're approaching their staff with. And so the other case where the people came kind of angry, it was a corporate function and it was mandatory. I could tell they did not want to be there. And it was a larger group. It was about
Yeah,
twenty
right.
people. Yeah, and they just were not happy to be there. But literally working with the horse, 15 minutes later, I start hearing, the people laughing and, enjoying. So it's just being on a farm in nature outside. It was a beautiful day. The horse was, interacting. People they were getting their turn in the pen and it's what looks like horse whispering is really what we're doing because we're working with a horse loose. The horse is loose. It's called at liberty. So the horse is loose in the round pen. And we're doing these horse whispering techniques,
Yeah.
which is really just what it is trying to be the leader of the herd based on their language.
Yeah.
So it's really a way to take yourself out of your human aggressive predator brain and say, okay, this is a prey animal. Everything I do is a little bit aggressive to him. I need to tone down a little bit what I do.
Yeah.
So it might mean that I don't approach him straight. I meander to get close. I don't put my hand up to his face. I might touch his shoulder first unless he offers his face. So it's similar to dogs, you don't just run up to a strange
No.
dog and touch them.
And it's also the ability to, not everyone's the same, right? So what I take away from this also is it's that how do you, like, it's getting to know someone. So like one thing might work for one person or, but it doesn't, like the same thing doesn't work. So like you say, it's being curious, it's that exploring. It's like, well, will this work or will that work? Really truly taking the time, I'm really big on this presence, the purpose, what's the purpose, what's the intention,
Yeah.
people
And
piece,
the
and you'll get the
and the
performance
energy.
and the energy. No, 100%. The energy is
And the energy has to match the intention.
absolutely, and I think that is just so critical because
Because
otherwise,
it starts here. It starts here,
yeah,
your intention, right? And then you have to follow up. So a big thing that I say a lot is ask like you mean it. And that's actually the title of my book.
oh,
Ask
I
like
was
you
gonna
mean
ask
it.
you, ask like you mean it.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Because that was something I had to keep repeating because I would have people. So one of the exercises is we ask the horse for his leg, like to
oh
pick up
yeah, I was
his
gonna ask you about this one.
foot. Yeah. And so I would have people asking from like 2 feet away and saying, why won't he give me his leg? And I said, well, you have to ask like you mean it. Ask like you want his leg because you're standing so far away. It doesn't really look like you want his leg. So he's feeling your energy and your intention. So why would he? So take a breath in your mind, picture his leg in your hand, and then go and ask like you mean it. Like, I want your leg. Okay, thank you. And then release. So it was just like for people, like change your mindset. And
Yeah,
then it reminded me of a time with my sister. I invited my sister to a barbecue at my house. And I said, I'm having a barbecue at my house. I'd love for you to come, but I totally get it if you can't make it. I know you're super busy. I know you have a lot on your plate and you can't make it. It might be hard for you. And so she turned to me and she said, am I invited or not? Because the way you kept giving me all those outs, it kind of sounds like you don't want me to come.
you know,
So how often do we do that? Like sometimes you start sending a text and oh, but if you can't, no, 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 back up.
yeah,
I would love for you to come. I would
yeah,
love,
yeah. It's just having that ability to just be clear.
Be clear. Ask like you mean it. Like,
Ask like
I
you
would
mean
love
it.
for you to be part of this. Great. I want to be part of this. Like,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really, oh my God, it's so fascinating. Like even like listening to you and talking to you and like Marley Bob, he's 21 months, he'll be two in February. But just even the energetic interactions we have together and nothing like a horse, right? But very different. But he'll like when I'm walking, if I take him for a walk and someone calls me, I'm on my phone, he just stops. He will
Mm.
stop and stare at me point blank and he's like, no. And it's actually hilarious because when I first got him and I'd be walking and talking and now it's just like a flat out no. And so like lately I just haven't even taken my phone with me because
That's so cute. It's almost like he's saying, this is my time.
this is my time with you. And
Yeah.
I want you to be present. I'm being present. And he'll look up and he's like, and it's just, but it's the cues that they give you, the energetic cues. I've never
Yes.
had an experience with a horse like you're talking about, and I'd love to do it. And I know there's a few in Australia. I'd love to get to the US at some point and come to do
Yeah,
it with
that'd be
you.
great.
Maria,
Yes.
one final question for you. The world is the world is complex. The world is wild. The world is crazy. There's a lot going on. What would you say is the biggest? I need to think about this question just quickly, but what would you say is the biggest opportunity that Horse and People Project, for example, could have to make it a better place?
So one of the biggest lessons, I guess, from the horses is being authentic, is being honest. And that doesn't mean it's not a weakness. So I think somehow we've turned honesty and authenticity into a weakness.
Yeah,
And so, how do you connect with other people if everybody has, these superficial
mask.
personas
Yeah,
and we can't communicate anymore and everybody gets offended about everything?
yeah,
Can we have a conversation? And here in the US, politics is just a crazy,
yes,
you can't talk to anybody about anything. And it's like you have to be careful with what you say or don't say, and it's so complicated. And so people are getting very withdrawn. And instead the horse is like, no, I want to connect. I want to connect with you. And trusting that feeling and bouncing that with each other, is I think learning how to get to the basics of communication again and being upfront and honest. And I don't have all the answers.
no,
And
and being
help me
authentic.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Maria, it's been honestly a true privilege talking to you and joy and energetically just like looking at all your horses, everything in the background. I'd love to be
Yeah.
in the pen with you and the horses right now. Book's coming out in January, so ask like you mean it. Obviously, I'm assuming across all platforms.
Yep.
Yes. And then
Yes.
how do we find out about you and how do we find out about the Horse and People Project?
So my website is Horse and People Project. I also have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. On TikTok, I also try to include just fun farm things, like not always serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because that's fun too, like just
Yeah,
horsey stuff.
totally. Totally.
Yeah. And also I encourage people that go volunteer at a rescue. Go volunteer at a
Yeah,
horse rescue.
very cool.
Get your hands on a horse. Like they always need help. And whatever you can do, even if it's helping cleaning and it's just being in that environment, it is really, I think, healthy.
Do good. Yeah, do good. Give back. Give back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Maria, thank you so much. Loved our chat. Loved this whole conversation. Love what you're doing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank